Welcome to today's tutorial. Today we want to learn how to apply animation and transition effects to our PowerPoint project. Animation is simply an effect that takes place when an object is on motion presenting, while that of transition is an effect that occurs between one slide and the other. So in the case of animation, let's say we have selected this object being the image in this context, and then we go to animation tab or animation menu, as you may wish to call. We have from this drop down options different kinds of animation, but you must know that there are three kinds of animation when you are presenting. The entrance, that is to say, effects that the object takes when it's coming to present, while emphasis is when the object appears on your presentation screen or slide, what motion does it take, while exit is the motion or the style that the object takes while exiting out of the slide during presentation. So first, we are going to select the entrance, but note that if you are from this point, you click any of this, it will only apply one effect at the same time, be it an entrance or an emphasis or an exit. That's to say, if I click on entrance, let's say fly in, and it flies in, if I go then to click on emphasis, it will only have emphasis. And if you notice here on the top left of this object, you have a number assigned to it, meaning that's the first animation. So there is only one animation. If I bring in entrance, it will only have still one animation. But if I have an option that I want to have three kinds of effect, that is entrance, emphasis, as well as exit, then I'll have to come to add animation. First of all, I'll come to entrance. Take note that under entrance, although we have sample styles here, there are options for more entrance effect here. So if I click on more entrance, this dialog box will appear, and I scroll, I'll see the hidden section of it. So I could choose to use wheeling, I could choose to use floating. Under moderate, I could choose to use expand, I could choose to use fading, I could choose to use spinner. But in this context, we will use the spinner option. And then I'll click OK. That's the first, the entrance effect. Now, if you notice on my right, while the object is being selected and the number indicated, while indicated, the number has been highlighted with an orange color. There is room for me to increase the duration that it may take. That is, at this moment, we are having 1.50 seconds. And then we also could have up to 2 seconds. So in other words, it will take 2 seconds for that effect to play out completely. If I want to add another animation, say emphasis, in other words, after coming in with an entrance effect, it emphasizes. Then I'll come to emphasis. I still have options to take from the more option. Let's say I want to use theta at this point, and then I use theta. I could also give duration of 1. Let's have it 1 at this point, 1 second. There's also options for delay, that is how long you want it to delay before it starts animating. And then we also have the option to exit. So I'm going to choose exit from any of this sample display, and then I'll choose exit, the shrink and turn exit options. I also have options to increase while the third style is being added, the third style is being indicated. I have options to increase or decrease. If I want to go back and work on the first style, I'll use my cursor and click the number 1, and then I'll still have options to control it here. So now, when all is done, notice that this image has 3 animation styles: entrance, emphasis, and as well as exit. So if I click on the preview icon here, what you notice is the entrance, the emphasis, and as well as the exit as well. But in the case of a chart, when you select the chart and wants to assign an animation to it, if you assign animation, say flow in, you will notice you have effects options here. From this launcher, you're going to have, you want it to flow down, you're going to have options. Aside from the direction, you also have room to customize whether you want it as one object, which is the default one. You could also have a setting for by series, so it will take per series, by series, each of those chart bars by series. We also have options as by category. In other words, it will take this data presentation by category as well. So the other options there, you try that yourself as well. There's also room for you to do the same in the case of a smart art. Let's say we have a smart art and we want to assign animation into our smart art. Let's say we have flying. There is option for us to apply the direction of flying, whether from the left or from the right, or bottom left or top right, as the case may be. Aside from the direction, there is also room for us to narrow it down to whether it's all at once or whether we want to have by level. Now let's say I have a text and then I go into this, I go to insert menu, I use the word art, and then I choose to use this. I have the Lord is good, and then I go to that again, insert word art under text group, and I choose this all the time. Click the boundary, drag it down, and I have all the time. Now, having all the time, I want to assign animations to this. So I want to use one, let's say flying, and then I choose the direction of flying, and I come into this and I use only the bouncing. Now I can as well come to the animation pane. Notice that this one comes first and this one comes second if I preview. But in the case of animation pane, I could use the animation pane to right click this and then have more control. I could say start with previous. In other words, when the first one is animating, or start after previous, pardon me. I could also say start with previous. So when the first one is animating, it also will animate. I also have options to select from the timing group which one comes next. If I have this as 1, I have this as 2. Let's Control D and have this. And so this is 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's give this a different color so we can identify it. So I have 3 now. Now I can choose which one comes first. I could choose to have this one first. So when I select the text boundary, there will be option to move earlier. So I'll go to a point that I have it indicated as 1, meaning that will come first. So if I preview my entire slide, this will come first, this will come second, and this will come third. So let's close the animation pane and then go into transition. Let's say I want to start from this second slide. If I come to the slide, I also have options to choose from transition to slide category here. There are options such as wind, prestige under exciting, and then under subtle I have options like cover, flash, and random. So in the case of exciting, let's use the cotton for this, and then the duration of transition will be here for you to customize to your own preferred length of time. Aside from that, you can choose the apply to all transition. In other words, this cotton will be applied through all this slide. There is also options for us to add sound if you wish to, arrow sound, and so many other options available there. And then you also have another one. Let's say we choose this that houses the smart arts, and then we choose from the dynamic content. Let's say this. So having that's from the dynamic contents, let's use the window one. We also have options to increase the length or duration as the case may be. There's also other sub options here as effects options is being called. So you could choose any of the effect options, and in this case you also have this one having no effect option. So take note of that. There will be no effect option in some, while in some you're going to have effect option. So now let's assign to this also, and then also this, let's assign any randomly, and let's preview our slide. This is the first one, and then this is the second one, and this is the third one. That's not all. Let's look at slideshow. In the case of slideshow, in other words, when you're presenting it to your audience, if you click on start from the beginning, it will start the presentation from the first slide. But if you click options such as start from the current, let's say we are on this other second slide, and I start from current, so presentations will start from the current. This is what my audience will see. But I also have options to right click on this screen and enable the show presenter view. The show presenter view will give me a view in which I, being the one controlling the output screen, will have this on my computer as well. So down here I have options to minimize this and then choose any ones that I want my audience to see. This is the screen portion that the audience will see, while this is a preview for me to know what comes next. So if I want to bring in the next thing, which is having bring in the transition effect, if I want to bring in the animation text one by one, I'll click here, or I just choose this. So you can click this, or you choose this, or you use the right arrow key on your keyboard. There's also options for us to zoom this in by pressing Ctrl on your keyboard, and then you zoom in. You can also use this zoom slider to zoom in to see more closer your slide shot views. Aside from that, there's also options for us to blank screen while presenting if we don't want our audience to concentrate on the image but rather concentrate on us while talking. We can use the blank screen option. We also have options to zoom to a specific portion of our image or our output screen. We also have options for us to use the laser pointer to point while presenting. There's also options for you to use the highlighter, and there's also options for you to use the eraser to remove that highlighter as well. And then we also have options for us to use pen to draw on our presentation screen while presenting. We can also use options as erase all to clear our screen. Note that what you have on the notes pane will always appear here, while this one will be a preview screen for you. So let's end our slideshow by clicking this, and then we want to learn how to export our projects as a video. For us to do that, you can come to the file menu or the file tab and then go to export. From export, you choose create a video, and then you're going to have resolutions here to choose from. Aside from that, you can also come to the record tab or record menu, and then you click export to video. It will still take you down here. So you're going to have resolutions to choose from. You have 4K resolutions, you have Full HD, you have HD, and standard size, as the case may be, that's being the smallest. So for the cost of this, I'm going to allow it to be at Full HD, and then since we haven't had any record timings, then we'll leave it at that, at default. And then the second to be spent on a slide. Take note of this. The accumulation of what you have on your animation pane. When you click this, you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 seconds. And then in this case, we have a total of 150, 1, and then 1. So the maximum to say is 5 seconds. So when we are exporting, this must be above 5 seconds. That is to say, it must be above the total summation of your seconds in that slide throughout your entire work. So this must be above 5. We can have it 6 seconds to be on the safe side. But if this is less than the total calculated time on any of the slide in your project, when it gets to that particular one, it will only animate that for, let's say you have 4 seconds, and the remaining one, it will cut. So your animation project or text won't be perfect. It won't be appealing. So for that, for you to avoid your animation being cut abruptly, you must give a reasonable time that is few seconds above the total of the highest animation slide that you have on your project. So let's have it at 6, because the highest on any of our slide there is 5. So we choose 6 here for it to animate or present perfectly, and then we use the create video options. We're going to give it a name. Let's allow it at that, and then we click on save. So you're going to wait while observing here. When this is done, you go to the file location to open, and then you play your video. Thanks so much for your time, and please do remember to subscribe, like, and share for more videos on PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, CorelDRAW, AutoCAD, Revit, and so much more. Thanks once again, and remain abundantly blessed.